Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this very special webinar. My name is Talal. I'm the head of digital lending here at Zindigi. Zindigi, as you may know, is a financial app. It's a banking experience, particularly for the Gen Zs and millennials of Pakistan, who make up the majority of the population as well. We have a very interesting lineup today to discuss this very interesting and cool topic, जो हमने सोचा कि हम आप लोग के लिए लाएं, which is financially independent and investment savvy women of tomorrow. इस बहुत से cool से topic को discuss करने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत cool खवातीन भी हैं जो who are going to be expressing their views on this topic on this very special day, which is the International Women's Day. Today is the 8th of March. We're gonna keep it short, keep it simple. हम थोड़ा bilingually चलेंगे. We'll whoever is comfortable जिस तरह से भी वैसे उसका communicate करना चाहता है कर सकता है. There's no hard and fast rule. We'll keep it casual as well, ताकि जितने अच्छे experiences जितने खुल के सारे share करें उतना ही अच्छा है, I guess. Just to start off, to introduce the guests. We have Meena Munawar, who is the Chief Product Officer for Zindigi, and her majority of her experience has been with likes of Easy Pesa, Telenor, and now she's working with Zindagi as the Chief Product Officer. Thank you so much, Meena, for taking out the time to be a part of this webinar.
Thank you a lot for having me. And hi, everyone.
All right. I'll move on to the second guest of ours, Hira, Tareen. You guys would already know the name, but let me just go on to introduce Hira. Hira is a very successful and accomplished actress. She's also a DJ, and she's also a very successful entrepreneur as well. I've known her for quite a while now. I know how hardworking Hira is and how seriously she takes her work and the whole subject of growing her wealth. So I thought no one better than Hira to be a part of this webinar and expressing her views on this subject that we have on the financially independent and investment savvy women of tomorrow. Thank you so much, Hira, for joining us.
Thank you, Talal, and excited to be here and kind of learn more about this topic from you guys.
Absolutely. And lastly, but not the least, we have Amreen Sorani. She's a fellow colleague as well. She's the head of research at JS Global Capital Limited, which is one of the leading brokerage houses in Pakistan. Amreen ka पिछले 14 years से experience है in long-term investing. She's been working with the capital and equity markets. और पिछले decade से she's been associated with JS Global Capital Limited, and she's been responsible for the research on Pakistan macro and equity strategy calls. It's a very fun job. I think she has. I keep on reading her articles and the kind of research she's coming up with, and I'm very excited to have you on this webinar. Amreen, thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now that we have the introductions out of the way, I'll move on to the first question that I have. और वो सवाल मैं पूछना चाहूँगा मीना से. Meena, since as I introduced you as well, I realized कि आपने बहुत अरसे पाकिस्तान के financial services के landscape को evolve होते हुए देखा है. So I think अगर हम women of tomorrow की बात कर रहे हैं तो हमें थोड़ा सा आपसे ये view जानना चाहेंगे कि how have things changed while लोग कहते हैं कि यार अभी भी बहुत problems हैं, लेकिन I feel like a lot of changes have already happened in Pakistan. So how have you seen this whole financial landscape change, especially for women who want to be financially independent and also want to use financial services?
I think Talal, industry has evolved quite a lot. I remember the time when we used to have discussions in the meeting rooms. हम बात ये करते होते थे कि how women can actually, get access to basic financial services, which is, just basic account opening and basic level of, transaction and basic access to, say, just banking as a channel, even for that matter. It was a cumbersome process. I remember long time back, obviously, किसी को बैंक जाना था, किसी को बैंक जाके, obviously there was a documentation process which was there, and I think a lot of women used to avoid that process. But I think we now have, as an industry, have evolved to the point where basic financial services is available to all, which includes women even. आपके लिए अकाउंट ओपन करना, एक्सेसिंग द बेसिक पेमेंट यूज केसेस, वो बहुत आसान हो गया है, ठीक है. सो आई थिंक इन दैट वे वी हैव कम अ लॉन्ग वे, एंड बट नाउ आई थिंक द नीड इज, एंड आई थिंक दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक इन दैट रिगार्ड एज वेल, कि द नीड इज कि हाउ we can educate and give women confidence to move to the next level, which is, how they can grow their wealth, how, what kind of investments opportunities are out there for them to basically grow their, if not income, whatever money that they have.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you touched upon, because I think money transfer उन्हें समझ आ गया हुआ है, बिल पेमेंट्स डिजिटली पे करना आ गए हुए हैं, लेकिन फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज तो इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारी चीजें को कवर करता है. उसके अंदर आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी आ जाती है, इंश्योरेंस भी आ जाती है, सो मेनी थिंग्स. तो what I gather from this is that now it's the time, and a lot of things have happened. Now the time is to take this to the next level. इन्हीं खवातीन के लिए जो कि financial inclusion में भी I think थोड़ा हम पीछे हैं as compared to the men as well. So I think the key objective is to take this to the next level, where we offering them mutual funds, stocks trading, insurance, tax payments, all of that. I guess in one unified experience.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है. So basic level, obviously, there's still obviously a bigger chunk of women who are still not, the custodian of their financial services. So दोनों चीज़ों को parallel में obviously आप लेके चलेंगे. One, just educating and informing those to become financially included, and then, the ones who are already included. जैसे मैं जिंदगी की भी example लूँ. So we have, more than 35% women, users in our base. And same goes for, I think, industry ke overall statistics are very, very good. So in that way, I think that's one area जो कि हमारे ऊपर obviously as the industry veterans है कि, we educate, those women who are financially included to become part of the next cycle, which is the investment and growth, wealth management की growth.
Biल्कुल. And I think just a little bit adding on to that, I think ये जो personal finance, financially independent होने की हम बात करें, in a country like Pakistan a few years ago शायद ये चीज़ possible भी नहीं थी, because how can you even grow your wealth in a where ये stocks और इस तरह की सारे अगर use cases हैं भी कहीं पे, अगर आपके पास बैंक अकाउंट ही नहीं to start with. So I think we've come a long way. There's been a lot of financial inclusion, and definitely उसकी positive impacts in खवातीन की financial independence में definitely फर्क डाल रहे हैं. So moving on, the second, इसी से leading on, the second question is to Hira, which is that Hira, you've spent a lot of time abroad as well. I think you've been born in the US as well, or
born in Pakistan but moved there when I was 8.
Okay. So you've spent a lot of time in the US, और आपने वहाँ पे भी देखा होगा, and I'm sure ये जो differences हैं financial independence के, even Western civilizations में भी और पाकिस्तान में भी वो फर्क नजर आता है between the two genders. So how do you feel like, how is it, what are some common misconceptions about women and investing, how is that different? मैं सिर्फ ये जानना चाहता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
Okay, so for me personally, coming from a background that is not so much focused on the financial aspect of things, like starting from everything that I've studied or the kind of work experiences that I've had, they've been more on the tech and more on the creative side. So for somebody like me, even being raised in the US and having gone to university over there, for somebody like me, when I hear the words like equity and like stocks and like mutual funds and bonds, and like right there, my brain just goes like, oh, what? What is all this stuff, you know? And I think it can be a little intimidating to hear these kind of words. And for me, when I hear the word investing, my mind automatically goes more to investing my time, investing my energy, investing my resources into things. And currently, as you know, I'm trying to build a business, trying to build a brand. So for me, when I think of investing, I think more about investing into businesses, you know, like, and I think more about investing financially into a business rather than, you know, because in the previous generation, we saw more, women like our mothers or our grandmothers are investing more in like gold, or like you had mentioned the other day, like, you know, their saving tools were like committees and maybe even property. If some of them were lucky, they got a chance to invest in property as well by saving their money. But generally, the role of kind of building wealth and accumulating wealth has kind of been assigned more to the man in the house, you know. And even now, as a millennial, I look at, when I think of investing, I think more about just having the luxury to be able to invest, or having the luxury of somebody else understanding what I'm trying to do with my life and investing in my business, you know. So even right now, for me, my mind doesn't necessarily go to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and that investing in that way. It goes more towards, hey, you know, you should invest in my business, or like, you know, investing, because I don't see that many men investing in women. I mean, so we're talking about taking it to the next level where women are now investing, and sure, we might need that to happen, because I don't see men investing as much as they should in women-led businesses. They might have some misconceptions about women, being able to manage finances and things like that. But I feel right now women are the consumers. And so that's why for me, looking at my beauty brand that I'm trying to create, I feel like it has a lot more scope, because I am the consumer of that as well. And a lot of times you'll see men kind of, investing in businesses that are led by men, but in the end, the consumers of that are women, but they just feel more comfortable with companies that are led by men. So I want to figure out how to, first of all, break that misconception. And secondly, yes, I feel like just understanding the jargon and maybe education and maybe just the intimidating factor of hearing words like the ones that I said, I just don't think that, I have that kind of understanding of how that is better than me investing in my own business.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just want to add here that I think that the idea of investing in businesses is always considered to be a rich mindset idea. I just want to say, because businesses, as the economy moves, the businesses move with it. So I think rich mindset की अगर हम बात करें तो I think having your own business is right up there. It's at the top of it. Or I think that's great that you're and I know you've already invested in like a fashion brand before this as well, and now you're coming up with your beauty line as well, beauty product line. So 100%, and definitely I think those are the kind of misconceptions that we want to address through this as well. And as far as mutual funds and stocks are concerned, I think वो मैं खुद wealth management देखता हूँ, तो वो start ही अक्सर बात वहाँ से start हो जाती है, because वो those are our products. अमरीन भी जानती है, I think हमारा bread and butter इन्हीं से चल रहा होता है आधे से ज़्यादा time तो इसलिए I think but I didn't mean to daunt you with it. But that's
no, not at all. I guess what I'm trying to say is that maybe if we're wanting women to move, or just generally Gen Z, if we're wanting them to kind of invest more or kind of learn more about investments in that sense of the way you guys are trying to promote it, or at least that's my understanding, then maybe, I don't know, maybe we could consider changing the terminology a bit, or maybe like Meena said, educating people more to where it's kind of the lingo is not so like, it sounds like a club of sorts, that either you're in this club or you're not in it, so even discussing that kind of a thing can be intimidating. Like right off the bat, I could be like, well, I don't know about it, so I'm just not going to talk about it. So it's that maybe just kind of making it simpler.
I think
could
I was
help.
just about to say simplifying it, in a language, not exactly, I wouldn't say language, but obviously simplifying these, areas, terminologies, and even aspects, basically, because at the end
Sure.
of the day, these are part of our day-to-day life anyways. It's just in a different way. किसी ना किसी तरह अब interaction होता है, but different तरीके से हो रहा होता है हर एक का. So, but I think I'm sure Amreen will have some good insights to share.
Yeah. So I think the next obvious question would go towards Amreen, and I think Amreen, if you want to speak about any of the previous questions I've asked, you're more than welcome to speak on it. But one thing I think that जो हम इस जिस direction में लेके जा रहे हैं इस conversation को, I want to ask you is कि for someone who's just starting off building their investment portfolio, women, what are the kind of key principles they should be looking at? Because historically speaking, जैसे Hira ने भी she touched upon it as well. पुराने जो generations थी, जो Gen X boomers थे, इन लोगों ने committees और gold और इस तरह की तमाम investment use cases को use किया. लेकिन for someone who's starting out today, who have access to digital, who have access to their phones, all the information is in the palm of their hands. वो लोग किस तरह से किन principles से शुरू कर सकते हैं and become financially independent, especially women?
So I think, yes, just building on to what has been said so far, we can say that there are where you start from, whoever is a new starter in financing or investing. The first would be that you need to define your goals, because that helps you understand what will be the timeline of your investment. So you need to understand, are you investing in your own future? Is it for maybe a down payment that you need to do? Is it for your child's education? It could be anything. Is it your plan B for your retirement? So whatever goal you have, that needs to be clear in your mind, so that you can understand how long will it take for you to reach that goal, and it manages your expectations while investing as well. This also then gives you a reality check of having some comfort in potential losses, because whenever you're investing, whether it be through entrepreneurship or different asset classes, anyone who's coming into investments needs to understand that where you can get returns, you can also get some losses depending on the kind of asset class you're going into. There's not always going to be a win-win situation, but the longer you are, the more chances you will end up with better returns. The second thing is, which has already been talked about so far by Meena as well, that you need to educate yourself. It is very important that you understand basic terminologies that are relating to different kind of asset classes. You need to understand the kind of opportunities that are out there in ways of different assets, and that are different in returns compared to where your finances already are. We spoke about gold, we spoke about committees. These are the two asset classes that are stigmatized with the women gender in Pakistan. We need to get out of that, and we need basic understanding. Today the internet is filled with small reels and videos that can also teach you these kind of things in very simple languages. So this is something we need to start approaching. The third thing, and I think the most important thing, is we need to be very disciplined whenever we're starting to invest. We can start small, but we need to be very regular. We need to be part of the documented economy, because we need to understand that stashing cash under our pillows will not be safe. Being part of the documented economy, having a bank account, in Pakistan right now, despite all this improvement that Meena just mentioned, only 6% of women in Pakistan right now have a bank account. When we look at men, that's more than 1/3 of Pakistani men who have bank accounts. So we need to start with that. We need to be part of the documented economy. We need to be part of the system so that our finances are safe. And we need to follow all these three pillars. That will be the base of your financial inclusion and your, independence.
Yeah, those are like personal finance pillars that I hold very dearly as well, very, very close to my heart too, because I think बहुत सारे लोगों का गोल नहीं होता, बस सेविंग कर रहे होते हैं, क्यों कर रहे हो यार, बस पैसे बना रहे हैं, मतलब आई थिंक वो बच्चों वाला एक एलिमेंट होता है, एक फैमिली के लिए एक एलिमेंट होता जरूर है, लेकिन अदर देन दैट कोई बड़ा टेंजिबल कभी गोल किसी का अक्सर लोगों का मैं मिस कर रहा होता हूँ, एंड विच इज व्हाई पीपल आई थिंक ऑल्सो are unable to save as aggressively as they can, perhaps, because वो drive आपको बहुत help करती है to be able to save, I think, at the end of the day, or grow your wealth or whatever objective it is. So goal होना, I 100% agree with you. Discipline is so much so important, क्योंकि you have to give time to your money. वो वाली बात है, अगर आप नहीं देंगे and you're just lazy, और या आप distract हो रहे हैं with all those reels which are not related to investment topics, so I think it's very easy to get distracted, it's very easy to lose sight of the goal that you have, and so I think ये चीजें are very important, and thank you so much for introducing those numbers as well. I think those are some very alarming numbers.
And just to add on that, especially at the beginning of this kind of a journey, it is very easy to also have impulsive decisions or to be scammed, because anyone can easily manipulate you with something that you are not aware of because of the lack of education in that kind of industry or sector. So you need to be aware of those kind of things. You need to set your trajectory that is under regulations of the country, and don't be overwhelmed and don't get intimidated by the new things that come towards you. Just be patient and just go with the flow.
And I think with all these finfluencers जो आजकल काफी हैं in the market, ये बहुत सारे topics जैसे अगर किसी को थोड़े लगते हैं overwhelming भी, तो those are broken down into, you have YouTube, घंटे की videos होती हैं लोगों की, and they're breaking down complex topics, and again I think it's so easy and everyone has access to these, so I definitely think people should try it out.
I think sorry, just adding to what you guys are saying, I think I'm glad that Hira is part of this discussion, because she is the reality that we have, the reality check जो हमें मिलना है वो Hira से ही मिल रहा है. Because you see, when we talk about these big things, which is like goal है या या जितना discipline है, I mean देखो normally नहीं होता. People who do not understand something which is very very basic इतना ज़्यादा नहीं कर पाएंगे. And I think Amreen is right when she quoted financial inclusions के numbers भी. मैं तो सिर्फ जिंदगी नंबर कोट करी थी, but obviously overall level पे definitely मैंने कहा भी कि दोनों चीज़ों पे काम होना चाहिए. जब लोग इतनी कर रहे होते, not easy to talking about, ठीक है, whatever the situation that we are in at the moment, तो हमें सिर्फ basic level पे देखना है कि किस तरह we try to simplify things obviously for women to make them comfortable, क्योंकि देखो किसी भी नई चीज़ को करने के लिए पहले तो मैं comfortable होंगी ना as a new investor obviously, ठीक है, मुझे कोई basic information मिलेगी, मैं comfortable होंगी कि यार मेरे पैसे हैं, ideally they're safe, so those kind of things which we have to obviously educate people with in order for them to actually become the first, या कहते हैं ना कैजुअल इन्वेस्टर की एक टर्म होती है, I'm sure Amreen knows and Talal of course कि कैजुअली करना शुरू करें, एटलीस्ट जस्ट टू ट्राई आउट. आई थिंक जिंदगी में हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव भी यही था व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड ऑफ कि एटलीस्ट पीपल शुड स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग छोटी टिकट साइज से, बिकॉज आई थिंक वी आर ऑफरिंग द लोएस्ट टिकट साइज इन द मार्केट. But Amreen, I think just one question. Sorry, Talal, just one question from me.
Please go ahead.
Because you're looking after the research bit as well. Currently, in your portfolio itself, क्या रेशो है, क्या कितनी वुमेन हैं जो कि इस वक्त इन्वेस्ट कर रही हैं एक्टिवली, या फिर you get queries even from them?
See, if we talk about professionals, then yes, there is a fair share of women participating, but that's only the ones. If we talk about retail clients, then yes, the ratios are skewed towards the other gender. And that is what we need to address. So until we don't start giving them the confidence that they can empower, they can take decisions, they can open up their small retail accounts, which can only open by $1,000. And not necessarily they come up to the level that the asset class is only stocks. It could be different bank products that they maybe don't know of. They just know one current account. There are various accounts of bank products. There are now even banks are promoting products that are specific to one gender. That could be explored as well. So until and unless we do not bring them to that stage that they need to be aware of all this, these ratios cannot improve. So the first thing should be that you start educating, start spreading awareness, and take them to that doorstep. There's a tagline that we use in our brand, which is called Sarmaya Kari Ki Samajhdari. So this is the motive behind it, that whatever investment you do, whatever money you park anywhere, it should be built on some kind of samajhdari. It's not just based on because someone told me to do so, or because my man is doing that, so I'll do that as well. You should be independent enough to take your own decisions and flourish financially.
Can I just add a point? I know we're talking about women and it's International Women's Day and everything like that, but I also feel like, whether we like to admit it or not, but men do have a huge role to play when it comes to even women investing, let alone the fact of them investing in women. But when you're talking about, a household where either there's a couple, like a husband and wife relationship, or whether there is a father and daughter relationship, but men do have a huge influence on what women do financially, because I always feel like women have to prove themselves first in order for anybody to take them seriously. Just like a small example, like there's a lot of times where like financial ideologies can clash as well between the two genders, where like women can just, like, for example, a small example is like, okay, why don't we get our kitchen renovated? And a woman could think that, well, me getting my kitchen renovated could lead to me, even though it's a rented apartment, but it could lead to me, if she's a content creator, it could lead to me making more aesthetic looking videos, which in turn can help me make more money. It can help me get more brand, partnerships and so forth. And then maybe a man could think that, but it's not owned by us, so why do we want to invest any kind of money into a property that is not ours, because we're going to be losing out on that money. So it's sometimes just a basic clash of ideologies, and men do have an influence, because no matter what, we can't ignore the cultural implications of finances and the role of women in finances, no matter, even if they're a CEO of their own company. At the end of the day, a man's word sometimes really just supersedes everything. So what do you guys have to say about that?
I'm not going to say anything.
Talal, you have to answer this question.
Very interesting, I think, yes, Talal.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, and that is the kind of taboos that we need to break down. I think, and वो आवाज जो होती है ना, वो I think आती है अंदर से, when men are talking, men are taking that decision as a breadwinner, as someone who runs the household as well. वो, I think ये clashes are bound to happen. But I think a lot of it, most of it, the bigger onus is on men, I think, to understand this. I'm not saying that because it's Women's Day, but I feel like it's you can always have a very balanced approach to this, but taking a very stern decision on such points actually leads to missing out on opportunities like you're mentioning, and I think I totally support that. Yeah.
I feel sometimes it's also the mindset. There's a certain mindset that says in order to accumulate wealth, you have to save money. And then there's a different mindset which says that in order to accumulate wealth, you have to make more money than you currently are making right now. So sometimes that can also be a difference in the approach between a woman and a man. Because once in a while when I do see those truly financially independent women who happen to be the bread earners of their particular household and they don't have anybody else to answer to, you see them doing amazing things. You see them, making those kind of investments in their day-to-day life into themselves, and through that they empower themselves to kind of just get better and better and better, and through that they accumulate more wealth because naturally, as you get better, whether you're investing in, learning a skill, or whether you're investing in, something as superficial as, making your house look better. If you happen to be like a content creator, I keep on giving that example because clearly I sound bitter about my kitchen. No, but I'm just kidding. No, but these are the small things. And then
Absolutely.
And so I feel like sometimes, we throw these words around like, financially independent. It's not just about being financially independent. There's other factors that contribute to a woman feeling like she's truly independent to make her own decisions, and it's not always that easy. I do admit that obviously when you're in a family structure, whether it's just, of a father, daughter, mother kind of a structure, or whether it's a husband and wife, you do have to keep everybody into consideration. Realistically, that is how life just works, and you have to keep everybody's opinions into consideration. But sometimes I feel like those are the obstacles and the real challenges that come with women, making those big moves that you guys are talking about.
Oh, that's a very interesting, I think, perspective on this whole financial independent. So people see these very powerful women, and it's good to see कि उन बड़ी खवातीन जो बड़ी successful हैं, उनको भी इस तरह daily एक pressures feel हो रहे होते हैं, इस तरह के problems face हो रहे होते हैं, and I clearly where we're trying to do some big things about stock investments and all of that, I think साथ-साथ इनको address करना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है, and I think it goes mostly towards men to really get with the program.
More men like you, Talal Pire, I think in that respect.
But
Sorry,
एक चीज़
Talal.
मैं आप लोगों से no worries, but मैं एक चीज़ आप लोगों से जरूर पूछना चाहता हूँ कि women have been excellent savers over the past ये जितना हमने time देखा है, अपनी माँओं को देखा है, they've been excellent savers. मीना से भी थोड़ी I think पहले they discussion कर रहा था that they're excellent savers, but that somehow जो पिछला generation भी थी वो it wasn't able to grow wealth as much. Either by wealth generation नहीं हो पा रही थी बहुत ज्यादा, हाँ saving accumulation जरूर थी वहां पे. तो वो जो जैसे हम बात करते हैं कि रियल इकोनॉमी को बीट करना है, इन्फ्लेशन इतनी है, तो वो करंट अकाउंट में या तिजोरी में पैसे रख के कहीं पे सेव करके they were fine with it, but the loss that they were getting on it was being ignored. Lekin I still feel that women have this very interesting perspective on saving. They're definitely more disciplined than men in a lot of ways, क्योंकि वो पहले जैसे घरों को भी संभालती रही हैं. So there is this knack that exists. तो कहने का मकसद है कि what I'm trying to ask here is how can this very interesting perspective that women have can be used to grow wealth or do investments or become an entrepreneur? How do you guys feel like that side of you helps you to be more financially independent or more investment savvy or to be better than most people out there, which includes men as well? Hira, we can start with you or whoever wants to answer.
Well, first of all, I personally have never been really that great at savings. So I wouldn't be able to relate to that, even though I don't know if Amreen can tell us the statistics say differently that women are better at savings. I don't know. I always feel like I'm of that mindset where I feel like, let's just make more money. Like, let's not save money. Let's make more money. Like, I'm like, okay, if we have air conditioners, then we should use them. Otherwise, why do we have them? So why, like in the summertime, like I'm not for saving money on like torturing ourselves and turning off the air conditioner. I feel we should use them, but since we bought them. So I'm very different in that sense. So I don't know if I'm the right person to ask, but yes, I do feel that women have.
Yeah.
women have a lot of different skills that make them, I think, good candidates for investing, such as like just being able to manage multiple things at one time, just have sort of multitasking kind of capability built within them. So they're good managers, they're good delegators. Even if it comes to just like domestically being just excellent at, delegating tasks. I think so. Even being able to manage a household is, I think, a good enough skill set to be able to apply that onto business. But I will be honest, I'm like on your website right now, which is zindigi.pk, and I'm learning about this as we speak, because I hadn't ever had a chance to look at it before, and I'm looking at the mutual funds section. And I think it's a great initiative. And I know we've talked about this before, but just again, time is money for people like me who are, I'm an actor, I'm a mother as well. I have to manage the household and then also starting a business. So my focus is constantly like in different places, and I've never really even looked at this kind of stuff before. So, it's interesting, and I'd love to learn more about how I can apply the kind of skill set that I have in daily life, and maybe how I could be good at investing. I don't know. I'm curious.
I think you've answered the question, I think, spot on. It's not just about investments. It's also about growing your wealth. It can be through investment in your business as well. So I completely get it, that whole multitasking thing. And I think Meena would definitely agree with me, with you on this whole multitasking bit. We've had a couple of conversations on this prior to the meeting. But thank you so much for that. Meena, Amreen, would you guys like to...
I'll jump in. So I think there are a couple of traits that, not taking away the fact that, men are not good at it. But when we talk about tasking, number one, in addition to that, the planning that women do practice in their day-to-day lives, that the patience that they hold, that and the focus that they have, I think these 3 to 4 key traits can be completely used when you're going towards financial or wealth building. These do help you. You need to embrace your strengths, but not everyone is made for everything. We should also bear in mind that, if there is something you are not understanding to that extent, there are financial advisors out there who are there to guide you and who are there to, give you the best advice on a personalized basis. So we need to also ensure that we're using these kind of opportunities that are there out in the market. So, as Hira just spoke of, that Zindigi is doing an amazing job in that. We ourselves have a bouquet of different kind of financial services. Our group, JS Group, is also known for this, that we have a financial arm in almost every segment. So we have advisors out there who are there to guide you for all of this, so that you're not overwhelmed with things that maybe you want to achieve but cannot, because maybe you don't have that skill set. So if you have the patience for it, if you're ready, you're up for with the focus, you're there for the long term, approach a financial advisor who does this professionally, who does this as bread and butter for its own. They'll be able to manage it better for you and give you better returns on your assets. But the first step would be that you take your assets to them and you are up for a long-term investment to them.
Yeah, one more thing I remembered, Talal, the video that you shared with me yesterday. I was watching it, and that there was this one lady who was talking about how women have more risk aversion. Like, they are very careful about taking risks, and they like to kind of just wait it out in the market before kind of going into the market or making any kind of big moves. I think they're a lot of times I can relate to that, because it's been 2 years since I've been working on trying to launch my brand. And when people ask me, like, why haven't you done it yet? Like, what's holding you back? And I'm just kind of like, I don't know where to even start with that, because I think women are more careful in that sense. that they just want to be sure that the outcome is going to be positive before they kind of make that move. And I think that's a good quality that women have if they do have that all across the board. And there was this one other thing that you mentioned. But yeah, I think that's all that comes to mind. That's another thing that I learned from that video that you sent me, that clearly women, I guess more millennial women are, they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're scared of risk, but they have a tendency to avoid it. And so they could be more careful kind of investors. And like you said, also looking to, speak with an advisor or looking to speak with an expert. I feel like I see women doing that more rather than men, because men, it is a generalization that I'm going to make here. But you know how men don't ask for directions?
No,
they don't ask for directions, and women will ask for directions.
उनसे पूछी जाए तो वो गलत रास्ता बताते हैं, स्पेशली लाहौरी मैन. तो
अच्छा, क्योंकि मैंने हमेशा ये नोटिस किया है कि like if there's a guy and a girl in a car, the girl will always be like, can we just ask for directions? And the guy will be like, no, I know where I'm going. And and then it'll still take about an hour for us to get to somewhere where we needed to get, where we could have just asked somebody. So I feel like women have less of that kind of barrier to ask questions and to, admit that they don't know about something, right? So women will openly come out and be like, hey, that's something I don't know about. Tell me about it. I want to learn about it. So I think that's another excellent quality that women have.
Yes, Meena. Please. I think you have something to add to it.
No, I think a very interesting conversation going on. मैं सिर्फ I think savings के perspective से, yes, I think savers हैं women, obviously some of them are, but there's another stereotype जो कि attached होता है कि they're also spenders as well. कि I know कि मेरे तो घर में यही है कि I'm a spender basically. And so that's the stereotype that I have. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but I'm okay with that, obviously. But normally I know that's also one perception that needs to be killed, because as I see, there are a lot of young women entrepreneurs and coming up, ठीक है, बहुत ज़्यादा different areas में we can see the growth of women coming in. So ये थोड़े से मुझे लगता है कि कुछ taboos जो attached हैं वो भी kill करने की कहीं पे ज़रूरत है, और उनकी वजह से ही मेजरली मसला आ रहा होता है. जो confidence level है और जो बार बार आपको prove भी करना पड़ रहा है कहीं पे अपने आप को, वो इसी वजह से है. Because society ने इतनी कुछ चीज़ें बना के आपके लिए special रखी हुई हैं कि you have to conform, and if you don't conform, basically that's how you are. So I think those are the things, the stereotypes that we have to obviously tackle.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of stereotypes are being discussed today, and I'm really happy for that. I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about how discipline is important. We've talked about how women can be are better multitaskers, and they're more disciplined as well. And so I think they're better geared towards personal finance, growing their wealth, either वो किसी business में invest कर रही हो या वो अपना portfolio कोई different asset classes का portfolio अगर वो manage कर रही हो. So I think there is a case there is a better case there. Although हमने ये भी बात की कि women may be more risk averse. Risk वैसे generally, Hira, to your point, risk or the feeling of loss, वो जो चीज़ है वो I think is very painful for us, and वो generally भी as human beings I think हम लोग उससे avoid करते हैं. But I think I get your point with women may be more risk averse, but of course to solve for that you have investment advisors like Amreen mentioned. So I think there is a roadmap here. There is definitely a case for growing wealth, becoming more financially independent, especially for women, जो कि अब you see out there as well. और inshallah, I think with initiatives like ours, जो मीना ने जो mention किया, जिंदगी जो कर रहा है, अमरीन ने भी जैसे mention किया, जो investment tools available हैं, and looking at you women who are investing in businesses, who are definitely doing good on that side. I feel like the future is bright. I think the men just need to take a little bit of a back seat, or let the women steer the car steer the car or whatever. I guess you guys get the analogy. I don't want to.
See to support guys. I think there's much more support and help that's required in terms of rather than backing off. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, not so fast, Talal. I think instead of taking a back seat, you need to, men need to support and invest in women too. We're talking about like the next level. I think first men should also invest, whether it's their daughters, their wives, just support and invest in their dreams. And so that, the future generations can also see that. And we can break all those barriers that we're trying to kind of, figure out our way around. But yeah, that being said, I also do think that women should definitely also support other women, because I think women, since we do know all our own really good qualities, then women that are in the position to invest in, smaller businesses or even any kind of business and to empower women, I think they should. Yeah.
Nurture other women, mentor other women, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
It's fair point. So, Amreen, I think everyone's shared their closing remarks as well, and we're going to bring this to a close. Amreen, if you have something to add to what was said, or we can just...
Sure. Part of the closing remarks, I think empowerment, because starts at a very early age. It is very important for parents, especially mothers, if they're spending more time with the kids, to start talking about, financial portfolios or savings or investments, any kind of, financial savvy, financial literacy with their kids at an early age. Because, when you are already married, you've started your life with, building your own family, it would be better if you are financial literate even before that, so that when you're entering into that life, you're starting your new career, you're geared up and you're well equipped to start simultaneously earning when you're also sleeping. That's how it's said, that you're earning, you're getting a monthly salary, or you're an entrepreneurship, but there must be some part of your financials, your savings that are kept somewhere that is giving you another income. So that should, I think, start with an early age. Number two, I think with all the stereotypes being mentioned here, we should also quantify them, that the biggest thing we need to change in our system, especially in our culture, is the wage gap right now. Like, still in Pakistan, the average wage gap is more than 35% right now, as per some reports. So this is something we need to work on collectively, and especially the women that are already in the field. Though we understand that, just 1/4 of Pakistan's women population is, a part of the workforce, but they need to start doing their bit. As Hira said, we need to start supporting each other. We need to tell our stories to each other, whether they're successes, whether they're failures, whatever lessons we've learned. If I will tell 5, those 5 each will tell 5 more. So the compounding effect is, very helpful. So this is something we should also start doing. So I think with that, I will close my closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Amreen. Absolutely agreed. I think a lot of things were discussed, and I don't need to summarize it. I think questions and we'll be there to answer. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. Happy International Women's Day. Take care of yourself.
Bye. Thank you for having me. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much for joining, and I would like to thank the guests as well. Before we close, I just want to say that while there are a lot of challenges, Zindagi is definitely making life simpler by introducing all these investment tools like mutual funds or investing in use cases like stock trading. So definitely Farak coming, or on top of that, we're also introducing our latest initiative, which by the name of Zindagi Har, which is a bouquet of services which are specifically geared towards women, especially in the Gen Z and the millennial age strata. So yeah, I really hope that what we're doing is making a difference, and hoping for a better tomorrow for all of us, for all women as well, from a financial independence and investment savvy standpoint. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the webinar. Bye bye.